Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition.
Live from the Tony Wallow Studios, it's the Ken Stout Live Show, featuring the Zoom homies, produced by LK Productions. And we are live. Still have some background noise coming from MSN, I believe it is. Sounds French, though. Turn it down just a little bit more, please. Thank you. And if the doggone mouse would work, there we go. We have Greg and Alex joining us in Zoom already. Seems the name change is still continuing. Hi. Hello, Chief Breaking Wind out of Lost Wages.
Yes. How?
Seems to be a little bit of confusion over who was first tonight.
Oh, hell, I was first from Las Vegas.
Technically I was first. Just I wasn't fast enough to type it into the chat because Bobby Warren beat me.
Well, Bobby didn't. Bob, you weren't even close to first. And there's no technically about it. Robert Michael, 10 minutes after I posted it, said Greg Guy. A minute after that, I posted LOL. 5 minutes after that, are you going to interrupt me and end up gone for the night?
What it shows more of the history in the
Yeah, I don't know why it's showing Bobby Warren as
YouTube
first.
thing that you can see and we can't.
Right. I don't understand why that is. I really do not.
Maybe that's why Doug shows the chat from his side on his stream.
Well, if you'll just hold your panties for a moment, I'm going to show you something.
What?
So if you see right here, this is the studio, and the studio says at 3:52, Robert Michael said Greg Guy. Then I said laughing out loud. Then Tony Wallow said good afternoon. Then Zinjack said this is going to be good. I sent Zinjack a couple messages because I need to talk to him. He never replied, so since my email was displayed, I took them off of there. Greg Guy was then technically in, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th place, followed by Bobby Warren in 6th, you in 7th, and John Loy Sr. in 8th. Why it shows on the other side, the non-studio version, which is right here, and I have it popped out, why it shows it like this. Well, actually, it does show it now. Greg Guy's first, then me, and then Tony, and then you. Or Zinjack, Greg, Bobby, then you. I don't know why it does that. And I'm not going to lose any sleep over trying to figure it out either. That I can promise you. See, Brian's joined us and Tim has joined us. Hi, guys.
Hey.
I'm going to go ahead and pop this back out.
No.
Well, we need to know.
I'm going to email Doug about it and see what he can come up with. That's just kind of sort of right up his alley. He'll eat that alive.
Well, I got something to show you guys.
Yeah.
Is it family friendly?
Yes.
I still can't believe she put you in the waiting room, Ian.
Read those two small paragraphs.
Hmm. Well, they normally send them out in 3 different waves a month. I get mine on the 3rd Wednesday usually. And it depends on your birth date.
Now, I'm not talking about the monthly. This is extra.
Well, I can't find much Googling it.
That's
Of course,
off,
Google doesn't know everything.
that's off MSN.com.
Oh, a very reputable site.
Yeah. I've seen it at a couple other places.
I've heard about it. This is the first I've ever seen something in actual print.
It's been up for over a week.
Well, like someone said in chat, I'll believe it when I see it. So that's kind of how I'm approaching that.
Well,
Pretty good show today.
Doug's?
Yeah,
It wasn't too bad.
it's kind of funny.
My general rule is if there's leftovers in the fridge, if it's been there longer than a week, I can eat it because I'm pretty sure by the time it's been there a week, nobody else is gonna eat it.
Not that I'll get a straight answer, but were we talking about food?
nope.
No,
I
Oh,
think so. Secondly, you will never put me in the waiting room because you will never be host. So that dream is going to be a long time coming to be filled.
You're gonna say maybe we transmogrified to talking about Alex's cast iron stomach if he eats stuff that old. Well, that was Calvin and Hobbes where the word transmogrified came from, I think.
Probably in the dictionary now.
I almost spit my drink all over the place because you said that.
if it ain't got mold, if it ain't got green mold on it and it ain't moving, warm it up.
Well,
You can scrape the mold
Well,
off.
I got a little secret.
Well,
One time-
transmogrifies in the Oxford Dictionary now. Transform in a surprising or magical manner. Okay.
One time I didn't realize it, and I actually drank orange juice with mold in it and chewed up the mold.
Thinking it was
Well, it's
pulp.
got a little penicillin.
Okay. Bobby Warren
Well,
said he went to
it was not
Clearwater
Calvin and
Blues.
Hobbes, unless it's older than I think. Origin, mid-17th century of unknown origin.
Calvin and
Okay.
Hobbes,
But-
they were around back then, weren't they? Just ask Al Gore, he'll
They-
tell you. Hey, Chris.
They might have been.
Hey. But I have an iron stomach, so it didn't hurt me.
Rick Lakes will not be joining us tonight, but he did say he would be watching part of the stream when time permitted. He's
I
headed out
don't
to the
suppose
pub.
he heard anything about his new PC.
I forgot to ask him actually. I took a.
Oh, he's got a new mini PC coming, don't he?
Mhm.
Yeah, supposedly. Somebody was talking the other day about that, said that only had DDR3 memory in it.
Yeah.
That was Brian.
Right, okay, yeah.
It's soldered onto the board too, is it not?
That's what I heard.
That's what I thought I heard too.
There
but-
was another little one that I was looking up. Maybe it was another one that Curie was doing, but it actually said it had DDR4. It wasn't that particular one.
It
He's
may
been
be,
looking at a lot of these little PCs lately.
it might be one solder, but it might be also an open slot too.
Yeah.
No, there's no slots on it. Kerry took the thing apart and opened it up, and he showed on the motherboard, if you want to call it. The motherboard is about the size of your open hand, and on there are 2 chips hard soldered onto the board, Now, Carrie said it is DDR3, but I've looked all over. There are no specs on this thing. Even when it's Ace Magician, I think was the
Right.
brand name. When you go to their site, they have very sparse on information.
I'm gonna
And
say
I
I
can't
looked up one of them and I thought it said DDR3. I got curious after you mentioned that, but excuse me, Brian. I shouldn't have interrupted you.
Well, that's right. I think even if it is DDR3, based on what the CPU is, based on what the intent of the whole computer is, DDR3 might work out just fine for it.
Mhm.
Now, when I Google it, I get several of them off Amazon. Here's one for $219 that claims it's got DDR4.
I can't believe how cheap those little mini PCs are. We're using the Lovinos at work. We're replacing all our desktops with those mini PCs at our workstations. Of course, now in the program department, we're not doing that because we're using CAD files and stuff like that to program the CNC machines, so they're useless.
Okay, are you getting the mini ones that you can fasten on the back of a monitor?
Oh yeah, we're not doing it though.
Oh, okay.
We're just using it for people like our secretaries, stuff like that. We're using them in our assembly department, our shipping and receiving department.
I presume those
two.
will handle most anything those folks need. They wouldn't handle CAD and CNC stuff. But
Oh no. There's 4 different desks that have computers that can use SolidWorks along with EdgeCam and all the other software we use. And those are custom build computers because you need a powerful machine for those.
I wish I had a machine with SolidWorks on it. I used one of those for a short while at the next to last job I had. But that one, you had to have a decent graphics card, at least back in those days.
Well, we used to have some really big monster towers. We've kind of scaled back a little bit. But SolidWorks and all that stuff's working fine on these, but you're not going to put it on a mini PC. It's not going to work. It'll crash
No.
or overheat, either or.
Do you remember what you pay for a copy of SolidWorks? It's been so long since I looked at that. I don't remember.
I don't know, but I will find out Monday and let you know. If you're an EA member, Experimental Airplane Association, you can get SolidWorks for free.
Yeah.
You can draw out and design your airplane that way.
Yeah.
Used to, I don't know if they're still offering that to us or not.
Well, that was the thing we used for modeling when I was working on the nuclear waste project here. And SolidWorks will model, well, it's like it said, it's a CAD program, but it puts things together by doing solids and not by doing surfaces, like a lot of CAD programs do.
Well, it's changed a lot over the years, Jeff. I don't know when the last time you used SolidWorks, but now you can.
2010.
Well, it hasn't been that long. Of course, every year you got to buy a new seed or whatever they call it. You got to upgrade to the newest version of it. That's expensive. But now you can put like a model of a silo and put like hurricane winds in there, and you can model it to see if it's going to do damage or not to it.
Yeah, just for example, what we were doing with it, we were modeling, for example, a shipping cache that would hold nuclear waste. And then we had another program that would read the SolidWorks file and set up a new mesh type geometry that we would use to run calculations to see how much radiation would escape out of it.
That's
And
kind of
that
cool.
one did a mesh thing where it modeled everything with little tiny triangles. You get them small enough while you can model almost any shape like that. So it wasn't working with the SolidWorks directly to do our calculations, but it could read what SolidWorks built and make its own mesh geometry. So it was
Wow.
that program was a commercial program, and for one workstation license to run it on and one PC license to set stuff up on, it cost us $65,000 a year.
Just for SolidWorks?
No, for the radiation
Oh,
software.
do you remember what SolidWorks was costing back then?
No, I don't. It seemed to me it was like, I don't know, $200 or $300 a seat, but I don't remember.
That sounds about right.
I'm guessing though. I mean, it's been 12, 13 years since we did that.
I wish I knew how to use all the functions in it.
Well, that's
I'm nowhere near a beginner on programming in SolidWorks, but I do know how to read the G codes and M codes actually on the machine and modify stuff if I have to.
Yeah, well, you know a lot more than I ever did. We had a class on it. The company that made the other expensive software came in and taught a class on how to use that, and part of that class was how to do simple modeling in SolidWorks. Of course, I mean, that was part of it done. Fuzzy was part of the $65,000 price the first year. Was the training was included in that. All right, there I are. Doesn't look much better.
I see Wintermute has posted a link to a product review on Amazon of that mini PC, and the guy who wrote the review says CPU Z, the little program, confirms that it is DDR3.
Okay.
But the other thing that nobody's mentioned is that its Bluetooth version is 4.2. Well, the current release of Bluetooth is 5.4, I believe.
I thought it was 5.0 on that PC.
Well, I may be wrong. I thought it was 4.2.
Nope,
4.2.
Hi, Rick.
4.2.
I could have swore Kerry said it was 5.0, but he's reviewed so many mini PCs, I probably got confused with one of them.
Yeah,
That just tells you how old this thing is, or at least the design of it is. It may have been manufactured a month or two ago, but its design was from years ago, and they're just using up a lot of old chips that are still somewhere in Asia.
Yep.
Yeah, because I thought Kerry said that these were brand new, just now coming out. At least I thought that's what I heard him say.
He did say that.
Well, you got to be careful now. Kerry's reviewed so many of them.
Yeah.
We lost track of which one he's talking about anymore.
True.
Yep.
At least.
Yep. Ken, did you get my messenger thing about the PC? You were talking about a hypothetical build last night, and you stimulated me to go add up everything I spent.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yeah.
And it came to a lot more money than I thought I spent.
I did
Although
see
I
that.
didn't spend it all at once. Thank God.
Yeah, really.
Yes. In
All
this
of those
particular
parts
instance,
were bought
it's not
over
his
a year and a
computer.
half. Excuse me, Alex.
I was just saying, in this particular instance, Chris, it's not your computer. Because I get the same. What it is there's a payment issue with the hosting provider and the domain name of the domain name provider. And since they don't have the correct payment info, or
Well, here's what I always suspected, Alex. It says you have an untrustworthy website. That's what my security software says.
When I called the hosting provider today, they said that the bank thought The bank thought it was fraud. Now we've had this website for over a year. I don't know why, but it's just that's what they said.
Okay, now I can see it. I can see the front page anyway after I click through all that stuff.
Yeah, but you know, I
Says you have a self-signed certificate.
yes,
When I clicked through it, it says file 404 not found. And I was picking on Ken, Alex. I was
it's
saying,
because
Ken, it must be your computer.
the security certificate is tied to the domain name, and the security certificate has to renew itself automatically every 90 days to stay active. And so, because there's something going wrong with the card info on the
Right.
account, it something anyway.
All right. Well, when I click through all of that, I can see the home page. I don't know if there's anything else beyond the home page that's supposed to be there.
You
No.
got your connection's not private too, Jeff?
There's not. I just at this point, the only way I suspect to get rid of that your connection's not private message is to update the info or whatever.
Yeah, mine, I didn't get that. I have Kaspersky Total Security, and it just said it had an invalid certificate.
Because
And then it let me click through anyway. I mean, I know it was yours, so I wasn't worried about
they
right.
They actually keep my hosting provider lets me keep backups, and if you pay for backups, they let you keep 3 backups. One from last night, one from 2 weeks ago, and one from like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so I just restored the one from 2 weeks ago because I knew it was working 2 weeks ago. And when I restored it, it's still done the same thing. So I know it's an issue tied to the actual
well,
website,
so when the bank
website name
gets straightened out, all this should go away.
Yes.
All right.
Because typically I only get those errors like that if I'm trying to access it on.
But what
on mobile data.
Here, why does the phone number at the bottom read BR549? You know that reference, Alex?
He's Googling
it.
I know it, but I don't.
I remember the number, but
anyway,
I can't believe this. We're paying
your samples auto sales on
Hee-haw.
Hey, BR549 is also a rock band.
Yeah, I see that too. I didn't know that. That was a new one to me.
Well, I can't believe it. We're paying $270 a month for SolidWorks.
A month?
That's what Ron told me just now. He's one of our programmers.
Right. So it's a subscription thing now, huh?
Yeah, I guess.
Well, that sucks like everything else that's going on with software.
Yeah, it's just like freaking Adobe Photoshop. You got to pay a monthly fee. I hate it. You don't have a standalone license no more.
Oh, did you know Adobe Acrobat, unless you're commercial use with a lot of licenses, is now subscription only?
Yep, that's why I don't use it no more.
Not the reader, but I used to have Acrobat Pro years ago.
Well, I was using Lightroom and Photoshop. I had a standalone license. Well, that doesn't exist no more. It's a monthly fee.
Well, it's interesting. I ran onto an ad the other day. I think one of those things you see in various locations when you go into Facebook, and it was offering a perpetual license for Acrobat.
Really?
And I hadn't looked at that in a while, and so I went to Adobe and looked it up, and the only perpetual license they offer is some type of a commercial plan where you're buying a lot of licenses. And so I figure the guys offering that on Facebook have got to be offering a gray market license that might get inactivated if Adobe found you using it. So there's other software that'll do PDF stuff. I just haven't decided which one I want to try. I've used one or two that have free versions, and none of them has worked very well.
For a PDF.
Yeah, I mean, simply to make a PDF file out of something, the Microsoft's print to PDF works well enough for me.
I use a Foxit Reader PDF, and with
I'm
that
not talking about a
you can
reader.
edit
I'm
the-
talking about making PDF file. Now, the
Okay.
latest Word and stuff, I think, will make its own files too, right?
It does, but it's not very
PDF.
good.
I got Adobe
Not very
Acrobat.
good.
I'm not paying a monthly fee.
Well, how long have you had it?
I don't, it's a couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, more than a couple of years.
Yeah, I think this one, they just switched this over. I don't know when. The last time
no.
I had checked on this, you could still buy the perpetual license. But it's been a couple years since I checked.
Mhm.
So I don't know when it.
One of these years, Microsoft is. Wouldn't surprise me if Microsoft makes Windows a subscription thing.
I don't know if they'll do Windows. I expect them to do Office that way.
I heard about it.
Well, they're already doing that with 365. That's your whole suite with Office and everything.
Oh, I know, but I mean, but like I bought that thing through CDK deals, and it is a legitimate perpetual retail license where CDK deals got it. I don't know, but it did
Yeah.
activate fine. But I've also read that Office 2021 may be the last version or next to last version to have a perpetual license option.
I believe you're right.
True or not, I don't know.
Now I heard about if you're an enterprise, Microsoft supposedly offers something called Windows 365 that allows an enterprise to buy like a cloud instance of Windows, similar to the way I have a cloud instance of Linux or our website.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you
I've got 365. I have no problem paying a monthly fee on that. It's not that expensive, but with Adobe and SolidWorks and all this other stuff, I'm not paying it.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
talking about
if you
actual
use it-
Windows, not Office.
Yeah, if you're using subscription software for business purposes, your company, you can deduct it on taxes. So I could do that for just an
Yeah.
individual license. It's not worth it to me. I'm not making any money off of it, so I have no reason to do it. On my old machine and on my laptop, I'm still running Office 2010 Professional. I'm
I
not,
remember having that.
and I'm not doing anything with it that I send out to anybody right now. And
I
so
have.
I'm not
I have.
worried about it.
Yeah. I have bought a key from that CDK deals for Windows 10. I installed it on a PC. It works really great.
Well, there's virtually no difference in between version Office 2013 and today's version, other than the security updates and all that.
They keep adding a few little features to different parts of it. It's probably
Nothing I can notice or nothing I use.
I don't like how they changed my Outlook email the other day. It used to be a white screen. Now everything in the background's black. I don't like that, but I can live with it. I just haven't figured out how to change it back to the way I like it.
I tell you, I keep waiting for my mom or me to open up Word or PowerPoint or something or her Outlook and it say unlicensed version, because that means that we'll have to start paying for it. Because right now I'm still using the school copy.
Well, unless you're using a bunch of fancy features, if you have a Microsoft account, you can use Office Online. And
Like 365.
well, it doesn't have all the features of 365. It's a limited version, but it does work for simple things like letters and
I know
simple
that.
spreadsheets and stuff.
But my
And
mom has to
all
Well,
have
I have a
all
I
I
have
have is a free OneDrive that's, I don't know, 20 gigabytes or something like that. It's not very much, but if I had to, I could write a letter there, put it on my OneDrive, and then copy it off my OneDrive to something else, you know.
Yeah, I like the OneDrive. I got a business account with them, so for my photography work, so I get a terabyte of storage,
Okay, well then, yeah.
and I get all the cool other features with the suite.
So you've got
Anyway,
Office 365 or Microsoft 365 on that account for
Yeah,
business?
yeah.
Okay, well, then you've got
Well,
all you need.
I got the business part, and then I can switch over to my personal part, which is nothing.
I figure as long as I can sign in to office.com with my school email, I figure I'll still be able to keep.
You can get a free Microsoft account with limited OneDrive space if that ever goes away. You won't have
I know,
features
but
you've got with your current Office, but it'll do everything you'll probably ever need for personal use. And you do your file there, and then you
I know
download.
that I know that, and I could, but see, my mom, she must have actual Word and Excel and Outlook physically, the actual program on her computer, because that's what she's used for the past 20 years.
They do have a family plan. Doug's even using it with his daughter. It's a cool feature.
Well,
Yeah, it's $100 a year, so we're just paying that.
well, I tell you what, I was in Costco this week and just went by the computer section. And right now you can buy the family plan for $89 a year at Costco. You get 15 months instead of 12, and they're giving you back a $10 gift card right now. So
Well, that's
in effect,
fantastic
you get
if
it
you
for
have a Costco
$79
membership.
for 15 months.
Mimi's doing a search on us
That's fantastic if you have a Costco membership, but see, we don't have
for
a Costco.
magnifying glass.
Well,
See-
if you know somebody that's got a Costco membership, they can buy it and give the card over to you.
Arkansas is the land of Sam's, not Costco. We've only got one Costco in the entire state.
Sam's has a similar deal, but it's not as good as Costco's. Is my
Hello.
understanding. I don't have. Hi, Mimi.
Hey, Mimi.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Bonsoir.
Bonjour, bonsoir.
Bonjour, or something like that. I don't know.
Bonjour.
Hey,
How are you?
Je parle un
thank you.
peu français.
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm hanging in there. Got no complaints.
Très bien, et vous?
Yeah. What Jeff said.
Bien,
I mean, what
merci.
Chief Breaking One said. I got to go answer a text. Be
Bien,
back.
bien, merci. Say good, very well.
And that's about all I remember out of 3 years of French 50 years ago.
I
a lot better than me.
understand English. I know it.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't talk English, but I understand English.
Sure.
My laptop I got that I still have. My laptop I got that I still have. 8 years. My upgraded that I got literally. It'll be 10 years old this year. Laptop I've got. I got it from Sam's, and it still works perfectly fine after I did all the upgrades and everything to it.
You can't find this anymore. One thing, quite a number of years back, I bought a $125 computer at a pawn shop in Aiken, South Carolina.
Ooh, I remember Aiken.
And I got I think it was an Acer, and it had Windows 7 on it. And I got
Oh,
the
wow.
computer and 2 monitors and a keyboard for $125. And it had what they called a starter version of Office 2010 on there.
Nice.
Oh
And it was a
I remember that.
perpetual, it was a perpetual license, but I think it had limited features. And
It was, yeah, and it was only, to the best of my memory, it was only Word and Excel.
yeah, but that's all a lot of people need.
What
And
brand computer was
I
it?
still have that someplace, but it's in a box someplace with that computer, which had a small hard drive, and I never tried to even upgrade it to 10 because I have better computers than that.
What
But
brand was it?
what?
Acer.
Brand computer was it? Acer.
Yeah, it was an
Uh,
Acer, and it was interesting. I bought it in the pawn shop, and the guy that left it at the pawn shop left all of his information on there. There wasn't
Are
anything.
you kidding me?
No, I mean, there wasn't much. He hadn't used it much. And then when I looked up the guy's name, I found out he was in the county jail back there.
Well, he was hard up for money, huh?
Yep,
I,
he was hard up, and that's why it went into the pawn shop. And this was the only PC in that particular pawn shop. It was a little place on Whiskey Road in Aiken. And I just happened to see it in the window and stopped there because I drove by there on the way home from work.
It amazes me what the end user does.
And
my
You should have had somebody to
so anyway, I removed all of his stuff, and I think he had never even made the backups of the original stuff on there. So I went ahead and made the CDs. So and then I just restored it fresh after I'd saved anything I thought looked interesting, and I looked it up later.
I had one of my high school aide here, a high school aide. She had a laptop that came with the Office starter. It was a Toshiba.
Yeah, and that is not something Microsoft kept doing. I think Windows 10 or Office 2010, maybe 2013. I don't know. I don't know.
Makes me feel ancient talking about Windows XP and Windows 7 now that Windows 10 has been out for so long.
But
And
Office 2010 worked fine for me. I still have it on my old desktop and on my laptop. The last place I worked had what they call the home use program, and I got 2 legitimate licenses for Office 2010 Pro for $10 and 2 Izio 2010 licenses for $10.
my nephew was helping my mom fold the bulletins for church tomorrow and the other day. And I said something about me doing the PowerPoint for church, the announcements on Sunday morning. And he said, I know how to do a slideshow. I know how to use Google Slides. And my response is, well, I have to use actual Microsoft PowerPoint because that's what the church computer has on it. And we don't have internet at the church, and I can't talk the sound guy that runs the computer into putting anything else on the computer. Plus, it's really slow, and I can't remote access it anyway because no internet.
Oh wow, I haven't done a PowerPoint presentation in years. I used to have a cool little remote that had a laser pointer on it,
The preacher has one that he uses on Wednesday night.
and it would advance to the next slide. It was like a mouse in the palm of your hand. It did everything with PowerPoint. It was really cool. I lost that thing somewhere.
So
Of course, I
what,
don't care about finding it because I don't do those kind of presentations anymore.
yeah, Alex, what does your mom do with Office that she needs it for? She does the bulletins with that other software we talked about one night.
Right. But she uses Word and Excel for her notes that she gets from the provider. They send Word and Excel files, and she has to send it back to them in an email every week.
Provider, you mean?
The company that pays her to
Oh, okay. So
to
she
do
needs
my
it she needs it for work.
yes.
Well, if she needs it for work, they should buy her a copy. You can buy a personal copy of
Wait a
Microsoft 365 for what? $69 for a
Hey,
year?
come in.
Yeah, but I need it too because I need it for the PowerPoint for the
Well,
church.
but I bet you could do what you need to do with the PowerPoint that's at office.com.
I'm paying.
I don't
I'm
know
pay-
because I don't know what you do, but I would guess.
I'm paying about $6.99 a month for the business side of 365. and that's cheap to me.
That's pretty good price, seems to me.
I'm not gonna complain one bit, but when you go to Photoshop and this other stuff, I'm not paying it. I'll go without.
I have tried to send our sound guy links. Well, back when we had internet at church, I've tried to send him links to download the files if I can't, if flash drive's still at church or whatever, and I hadn't got a chance to get it or whatever. I've tried to send him links to download this stuff, and it don't work. You can't never figure it out. The only
Jim,
thing,
I mean, that's $84 a year for the business side of it. That seems like a damn good price to me.
I'm not complaining.
And you've got,
And
and
I
you
got
got
my own
subscription
domain name
you have,
also.
you have a reason to pay the subscription. So,
Well, I have
the
to
accounts, does
for the
that let you have?
photography side of things that I do. The computer side of things, I don't need all that stuff.
No, but I'm
I
saying,
would like to have, log me and rescue, but I don't work on computers all the time like Doug or anybody
Yeah.
else does.
so how
Log
many
me and
accounts
rescue's
does that let you
expensive.
have, Tim? One?
Excuse me?
How many logins does that let you have? How many names? Just one?
For the business side of it,
Yeah.
I could probably add 3 or 4 to it, but I'm not sure about that.
Well, if you
Right
can add
now,
more
it's
than
just
one
me.
login to that, I mean, that's a hell of a deal.
Oh yeah. And my mom also swears by using Outlook, the actual Outlook program on the computer, not the web version, because that's what she's used for the.
That's what I have on my computer and my smartphone because I got my personal email and then I got my business email. And which is kind of cool with having that account, which is hosted by GoDaddy. I hate to say their name because they're having a lot of problems, but I could add more emails to that if I want.
My brother uses EM Client, and he always
I've
gives
heard of
me
them.
he
Never
always gives
heard of
me
it.
he gives me a bad time about using Outlook. And so just for giggles, I downloaded EM Client. It's a free program. It is a ripoff of Outlook. It looks
Really?
identical. He's been using it for several years.
So it's a clone of Outlook, but they changed a few things so they can get away with it.
Well, I'm sure there's some things in there that have been left out, but for 90% of the things that you do within an email client, the program EM Client would fill all of those needs.
Yeah, I've heard of it, and I've never tried it, but I know maybe 5 people that use it. They've got no complaints. Of course, way back in the day, I used what is it, Thunderbird? I think Jim uses that, and several other people use that. I used it for maybe a year, and I'm like, I don't like this no more.
Now I'm sure if when I get a job, they will either provide me a computer with all the office stuff and all that other stuff that I need, or they give me a license for whatever software I need to put on my computer, or I remote into their stuff from my computer, do everything through a website or whatever.
You mentioned something, Alex. They asked you if you was willing to relocate.
You talk about the job that I'm having an interview for Thursday?
Yeah.
No.
No? Okay, I misunderstood you.
They want me. He's coming down, basically driving an hour one way, so he's basically driving 2 hours round trip to come down and have lunch and visit me.
Wow. That sounds promising. I wouldn't drive an hour out of my way 2-hour round trip just to meet with somebody and say, hey, this is what we got to offer.
He must really have something. He must really have something in the works, or he wants to hand deliver me a offer letter or something
Did you call them back, or
Um,
did you initiate this?
no, he did. I
Okay.
talked to him 2 weeks ago. Talked on the phone for 30 minutes. I explained all that I know, my disability and all that stuff. And he said, and even after I explained all that stuff, I said, he said, well, I'm going to try to work out something, get with the owner, try to work out something because it's a small business. And
Well, if he's the director of your operations, he's the next guy to the owner. So he's got a plan, maybe.
And so he basically told me 2 weeks ago when I first talked to him. He basically asked me 2 weeks ago when I first talked to him, would you be interested in meeting for lunch? And I said, yeah.
Well,
That's
one thing you could do here, Alex, for your mom, you can buy office, home, and student. And well, it doesn't have Outlook in it, I guess.
No, office home and student doesn't. I said it doesn't because when we had 2010, we had the 2010 version of home and student, and it only comes with Word, Excel, and PowerPoint.
I'm gonna say it's being offered at Costco right now for $149.99, but with a $25 gift card that you can use someplace. I don't think it has to be at Costco either. It's an e-gift card. I think you can use it any place they take Visa.
When it comes to my mom and the computer, can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Some of us old people aren't that dumb.
I'm not saying she's dumb. She just don't want to learn a new piece of software. I tried to get her to switch off of that old software that she's been using for the bulletin. I tried to install like two or three, 4 different programs on her computer.
Well, if it comes to the point where you can't use the license you've got now, then she'll either have to help pay for the license for Microsoft 365 or switch. So maybe she'll help you pay for the license.
She's gonna pay for the license.
Okay, well that works too.
Or because I know whatever I need for actual job work will be covered by the.
No, but if you buy the family license, it's not that much more than the individual license. Goes from $70 to $100, and you can put up to 6 people on the family license. I think.
I wonder if the computer I have will be sufficient for work from home. I'm just being funny.
Well,
and it was way more power than I probably need.
Well, you just wait and see what the guy has to say. He may not have a job offer in hand, but he may want to meet you personally to discuss what kind of things you could do for them. And then if he's satisfied with that, he might prepare you a job offer. You don't know what the deal is until you actually talk to him.
I don't, and he hasn't told me over the phone. He's told me about the actual remote possibility is that they always need somebody to like look at like the data backups and make sure the data backups go through or whatever. Because
that's certainly something you could do a lot of remotely.
They've got 60 clients they do off-tape backups for. So
unless they're backing up to tape, which a bunch of people still do.
We used to. We finally got rid of that old technology at work.
Well, now if they want to give me the machine,
people still use tape cartridges, and some of those will hold a hell of a lot of data yet.
If they want to give me the machine, and so I can help them do it.
The thing I was thinking of there, if they're actually using tape cartridges, then somebody's got to change the cartridges out.
Yeah, our server, I remember, I think it held 6 different tape bays, and we had to switch one of them out every day.
But
back then, I was trying to get Doug to be our IT guy, but they didn't want to budge.
But some of those cartridges used tapes like almost an inch wide with a lot of tracks on them.
Can you still buy those things?
Oh yeah, tape is still a big backup thing. I looked at that about a year ago.
I seen a video about it recently, just a few days ago.
I remember our server crashed about, I don't know, about 10 years ago, and we
Yeah.
almost just lost everything. I mean, it took a major crash, and it was using the tapes for backups.
Hmm.
Somehow, we recovered that data somehow.
I
Put a brand new server in there. Then we had to build a room for the server and put its own air conditioner in it, a window unit air conditioner.
I watched a video on that recently, and they said that those machines to read the tapes are like $500 or more, and the tapes themselves are like $50 a pop. But they hold several terabytes worth of data, but it's really, really, really slow, like slower than or as slow as reading off a CD or DVD.
Well,
yeah, they're slow, but at least you don't lose your data.
Well, what I'm looking at here, take this one thing I'm looking at now. It says they're primarily used for secondary backups and for stuff that you don't need online. You can make one of these every so often and then store it off site in case the place burns down or whatever.
Mhm.
So
Like
it's,
Backblaze or something.
you know,
Where's Ken at?
I'm here.
When they
he's
say they
hiding
do,
behind the fish.
when this company says they do offsite backups, the only thing I can think of is they have 60 some odd clients and they're doing backups to their actual server at their actual headquarters or something like that, unless they're using like business version of OneDrive or something.
They could be backing stuff up at their headquarters or one of their locations, or they could be backing it up at the client location and relying on the client to change to ensure the disk drives are available. And you heard Doug's story about how that didn't work for one client.
Well, they
Oh, yeah.
specifically do offsite backups, so they've got to have it somewhere else other than
or they may be renting space someplace. I mean, from a big provider. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Every time I take my grandson to baseball and we go on the Beltway out here, we drive by a company that has a huge server farm. I mean, this thing has got like 3 blocks worth of buildings, and all they have inside it is tons and tons of servers.
I hate to see the air conditioning bill on that building.
Oh, I'm sure the clients are paying for all of that in the cost.
A buddy of mine, Mike Flynn, he owns Integrity Networks, and his cousin owns the security building downtown Fresno, and they're big antennas on top of that building. And in the basement of that building, it's just completely full of servers. And we nickname him the tower guy because he climbs all over these towers, and it's, I wish I could afford the internet from these people. It's way better than Comcast or anything because it's all microwave.
Yeah, here's the big one that's out here. It's a company called Switch.
I've heard of them.
And they have what they call exascale, which is, I don't know, 10 to the 24th terabytes or something.
It's crazy.
Tier 5 data centers, and they have Tempest rated storage. That's a government reliability standard, if memory serves. They do all kinds of stuff. They design and sell these as well as just run data centers too. But when I drive by this place, it's like they've got like 5 or 6 warehouse-sized buildings near the Beltway out here, and all behind walls, and the walls are all lit up with bright red lights at night and all of that. They were showing off they're around. But the data centers, let me see. Okay, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zones in the United States. And it says
I would love to get
they call a latency zone.
I would love to get a tour of something like that.
Yep.
I actually have had the privilege of having a tour of something like that.
So Yeah, one in
Where
Nevada,
at?
one in someplace in Texas, one in Las Vegas. There's one up in northern Nevada, and there's one that looks to me like in Indiana.
Why
We're
would they
at
put why would they put these big old server warehouses where it's super hot during the summer?
Well, they have 5 different zones around the country, and they may actually keep stuff in more than one location.
Yeah, it's kind of like a raid.
Yeah, it said the switch
Um,
primes are intentionally located in the most cost-effective area of each Switch America zone based on low or no taxes. Well, Nevada has low taxes, lowest cost of power, et cetera, and all on and on.
It amazes me a lot of our medical companies that we make parts for are moving to Nevada.
Yeah, well,
one of
It's
a
cheaper to
lot of them are
machine
coming
parts
from
there.
California because of the lower cost of doing business here in Nevada.
Well, Tesla moved out of here.
They went where to Texas, right? We make
Yeah.
Texas has a location around Reno, I think, where they're making batteries. But here they got one in Tahoe, Reno area. Got one in Las Vegas, one in Atlanta, one in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and one in Austin. Boy, the one in Austin looks like a huge place.
one of
So,
my former college instructors used to work at that place, and so he has connections at this at the data center in Little Rock, so he was able to get us permission to go in there and see all that.
yeah, one of the reasons they've got 2 locations in Nevada, one in Reno is being built, says they'll have up to 650 megawatts of power to run that campus.
How much?
650 megawatts.
Wow.
And
And one of the reasons they like Nevada, 2% sales and use tax for their stuff, 75% reduction in personal property tax in Nevada compared to other places, no state income tax. Now they're comparing it to the Bay Area in California, which apparently is where they started, and a lot of people are getting the hell out of there. So I don't know much about them, except I knew they had these data centers.
the data center he took, my college instructor took us to at the time, is a big state data center that all the data runs through for all the public schools and everything. Yep. He works there now again, I think. And they said when we went to there, they said no taking any pictures inside. You cannot take any pictures or any video or anything.
Oh, here, this one in Vegas, they're saying they've got what they call a 7 millisecond fiber connection to their new campus that's going into Reno, Tahoe area. So these 2 will be able to duplicate data by something what they call the switch super loop. That's a trademark. It just means it's a fast optical connection that's got a lot of bandwidth. I'll be back in a minute. My dog's whining to go take a dump. Sorry.
And then fast forward 2 or 3 years, I went back to that same building for a job interview, which I didn't get. But they have, it's like you go in the front door, and the data center's on the first floor. So it's like you go in the front door, all you can see is the elevator, and they've got 2 sets of double glass doors. All the glass on both sets of them doors is covered up, so you cannot even see in. Only thing you can see is the elevator.
Yeah, I bet they're really tight on security.
Yeah, it's very tight on security. So tight, in fact, that they was holding the door open for all of us to get through. And when they was holding the door open, the alarms was going off, because you can only hold the door open for so long until the alarm goes off, because everybody's got a badge in and out. So they had to make us visitor passes, print us off visitor passes before we could even get in the door.
Something like that would be cool to work at.
This is state school level, very high security stuff.
Tesla's sweetheart deal with Texas, I think, might be coming to an end, because it was about 2 weeks ago, Elon Musk had a news conference with Governor Newsom in California.
Really?
Two guys that hated each other, but Tesla is moving into the old Hewlett-Packard facility in Palo Alto. Tesla is moving its engineering department into that, moving out of Austin back into Palo Alto.
Interesting. That's right down the street.
Where is Hewitt Packard located now?
India.
I know that. Not Indiana. But I'm talking about they don't have American facility. Probably in Indiana.
But Brian, you think that Tesla's leaving Texas and going out to California because all the tax breaks they got in Texas are about to expire, so they just go out and look for another deal?
Well, Newsom even announced that before he moved out of the Fremont facility. He's going, I'm going to go wherever I get the best tax break.
Yeah, that's...
Makes sense.
If you can remember when all that BS happened back then, that's what it was. I think there was 3 areas he was looking at. One was in Texas, and then California was trying to stay online with him, and there was, I think maybe it was Colorado. Texas won the deal, gave him the biggest tax breaks. And I think they're about to expire. We never know, because those are always private agreements that the public doesn't get to know about.
I'm really shocked. There's a Tesla service center down the street from where I work now, and that used to be country. The city's expanding to the east. It's crazy.
When we drop the link, it says HP headquarters is in Palo Alto, California.
That's what,
Yeah,
he changed his name to Alex Murdoch. That's what he just said.
Even
Yeah, I seen that. It's pretty cool.
That's
but
what
even if you
Ken, that's what they said Tesla's going, is Palo Alto, whatever, how you pronounce it.
Palo Alto.
It's going to the old horrible products place.
But I imagine even if you go to their corporate office or wherever they are, I imagine even if you go there, even in California, everybody that works there is originally from India or somewhere, so you still can't understand a word they're saying.
Yeah, well, we have to get some of our machines worked on sometimes by somebody that's way over our head to come out and service these machines. I mean, some of these machines, they're 20 axis lathes and mills at the same time. And we got to get somebody to service them. And it's those people can't understand a word they're saying, but they're smart as crap. It's just amazing what they can do. Of course, they're probably charging us $1,000 an hour to work on them, but anyway, we gotta have them fixed.
It amazes me how everybody else in the world, India, the UK, anywhere, seems to have a lot more. There's a whole lot more tech content out there from India, I would imagine, and other places, the United Kingdom, than there is actually from the USA, which is really just
a lot of you scammers come from India too.
Oh yeah.
Well, now this is interesting. I'm reading this. Hewlett-Packard Enterprises is opening its new global headquarters north of Houston this week. Now, this is dated a year ago. So HP moved out of Palo Alto to move to Texas. Tesla is taking their engineering division out of Texas to move into HP. It's musical chairs.
They're flip flopping.
And there's some kind of incentive for both of them, I bet.